Again, not financial advice. So let's have a look at Bitcoin. I went into Bitcoin last week. I'll kind of quickly go over what I was looking at. Let's have a look at that one. No, that was the week before. These are the week before. Kind of, this is what I was looking for initially, a swing short, lower high. And we're coming into the crucial back test here. Do you see? I kind of thought, why did I give that level? Well, it's just about Confluence. I kind of look at the range, volume, look at this. We've come into the point of control. We're looking at naked points of control. There's a naked weekly point of control there. So that's a kind of a second level of Confluence. It's hit the single prints. Do you see that? So it's come into the single prints here. It's hit them. Single prints has initially acted as resistance. You have a little bit of Confluence there. Anything else? Let's see these higher time frame levels. High time frame Fibs. What else do they have? Just have a look at these. Can't remember. Quickly. I wasn't actually thinking that we would swing reject here necessarily, but because of the Confluence, there's only two areas of Confluence, but it is the point of control. Point of control is a really important level to reclaim for continuation to the upside. Otherwise, the price can easily reject off the point of control. I was looking at the possibility of some kind of rising wedge. So we are in that kind of idea now, except it's kind of gone a bit higher than maybe I anticipated. And sometimes when that happens, it's a liquidity grab. And like we've come into the point of control, we haven't really rejected. We had a reaction, but then we went through it. Now we're getting as kind of a local failed auction from the point of control area. But we are clearly finding support from this swing failure level here, this white line that I drew, which is also a back test or potential back test of the day lift. So we're in a bit of a zone here where the price could go up or down. Yeah. And I had a short planned. I had the long initially. So when I did it last week, it was on Saturday, we were here. So I was thinking for a long, and it didn't come down to the level that I really wanted. I was thinking that maybe we'd come and hit this trend line, but it didn't. So that kind of suggests a little bit more bullishness. It kind of back tested this daily level perfectly. And so if you're trading, you see that you can actually take the trade. It's almost like that the lower level, which is a better level, is front run, because you have an invalidation. It's about a reaction and invalidation. And now what's happened is the price has gone up, taken out the highs, and we're getting a little bit of a reaction here, a little bit of a rejection. So let's just kind of have a look at this. Let's get rid of these now. And what I want to do just quickly is just update the levels. Nope, it can go. Let's have a look at the volume levels. If I can find it. There it is. So it's good to update your levels every time you analyze the charts. Make sure there's no changes. Doesn't look like it. We're kind of into the point of control. We're washing it. And so when you wash the point of control, that's a really good sign for continuation. Yeah. We're not getting a bearish reaction off the point of control just yet, because we've managed to react and then go through. Usually when that happens, there's a possibility that we go higher. Yeah. Otherwise, the second time it goes, it does a lower high. It doesn't do a higher high. It goes for a lower high. And so naturally, when you're looking at this, you can see that we're above this level. And we're washing the point of control, we're clearing the liquidity, we've come into the single prints, and we're trying to find support here underneath resistance, resistance being the point of control. And sometimes when the price consolidates underneath resistance in a local uptrend, that's actually bullish, not bearish. I can see the volume hasn't changed. Let me have a look at the higher time frame levels. I'll start at the weekly time frame. There's a new weekly level potentially with a green candle here. Let me go to the daily time frame. That one's cleared. Look at that. The price went through that daily level, and it looks like potentially we could backtest that for a flip. That's what it looks like. So I'll kind of do a, I'll call it washed again, but there's a potential flip there. If we lose that, then the chances are for lower, and then we're just kind of continuing this upward wedge. But if we flip this area, there's a potential for push to another push to the upside. That wash lane, I'll get rid of it now. Got this daily level there. And then once I've done that, where's those fibs again? Okay. I'm going to have a look at these, do a full fib. Yeah, we're washing that. And that's kind of why I said that area too, because there's a 382 there. All right. So when we put the levels back in, got volume, higher time frame levels, and you've got single prints. With the POCs, we've cleared this weekly POC now. Get rid of it. And then I'm going to have a look at the order flow. Let's see what the order flow is saying. Getting a bit of bearish divergence at the moment, because you can see the CVD is going up and the price isn't going up. We're underneath the VWAP. We're underneath there. So actually today is actually bearish, just because we're getting bearish CVD. You can see the CVD is going up and putting in higher highs there, and you can see that the price is actually locally, we're getting a little bit of bearish CVD. We're underneath the VWAP. We're underneath the daily open. So today it's kind of looking a little bit bearish just today. But here, as the price, here you can see we put in bullish CVD, because the CVD went down. It put in a lower low, and the price has put in a higher low. So across this range, we're putting in really bullish CVD. You see that the CVD is going down, 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 down from this pivot, but actually the price is higher. So again, it's bullish at the lows, bearish at the highs. And across this whole range, it's really actually quite bullish. We're getting a lot of bullish absorption. Let's have a look at, see if there's any more single prints here. Yeah, we have a few here on the way up. Let me just mark them out so I can add them. 92427 to 91636, and then we have 91427 to 91. Oops, no. 92596 to 92989. Is that right? Did I do that right? Yeah. Any more? Let's have a look. I have to go back a little bit. There's a real slither of single prints here. I'll write that down. I'll mark it out, because these can act as Confluence. 97983 to, sorry, 87983 to 880. What's that number? 94. We're done. Let's have a look at these daily points of control. Naked daily point of control. We have a level just above us, which was 2 days ago, 96180. Below us, 92040. Any more? There you go, there's one there as well. 87760. The rest are cleared. You can see that. Oh, there's one down there as well. 81940. These can act as Confluence. We have a weekly naked point of control there. 88374. One here as well. 82,000. Okay. And go back to the profile, to the charts. Let's do it one by one. Single prints. Let's put the single prints in. Nine 2427. 91636. 92596. Basically one block there, isn't there? To 92989. Points of control. Let's do these. Starting with the daily 96180. Nine 92040. 87760. We have that. We've got that already. And the low one, we've got that already. We've got those two already. And then the weekly, we have 88374. And then 82,000. We got that one already. So pretty much the same. We had it before. Must have got the number wrong before. Okay. So now we have our levels. Let's just kind of have a look at them. Let's bring them all up. Fibs, higher time range volume. So we have, and so this is interesting. So we have single prints to the upside, and usually what happens is if we fill those single prints, they will fill, smashing right through like that. Just because of the way the single prints fill, low volume areas, relatively speaking, and they fill very fast, and then you come into a real nice sell zone. And if we drop, we'll drop quite quickly too. I think if we lose this daily level, we'll go down, and then maybe down into the actual area. You've got that trend line. We don't really want to lose that. We probably would if we went down. Probably would. If we don't find support then. There's no reason to find support off the trend line, just off one level. If we get a fast move down, it'll probably break and then go down, and then what you'll get is you'll probably get a reaction and then backtest, and then we're heading for lower. So I think we're at a really critical part of the charts right now on this kind of flip, this daily flip. We lose that, then it's a failed auction of these highs, which is basically this trade idea that I had before. And this is no longer relevant. So let's just get this trend line out. Let's get rid of the single prints now. Failed auction or lower. Reaction, backtest, and then further to lower prices. It will look bearish, but then actually maybe we could actually go all the way down for liquidity. It's basically a liquidity, it'll be a liquidity run, maybe taking out that low, and that will take us back to something I had before, like this one, except it's further along, taking out the lows. You kind of would aim for the lows in that case and a reclaim, and then you could have a really nice pump, and maybe that would coincide with the Wyckoff idea, which I initiated before, which would be an ST in phase B going to take the lows. It's a possibility, not financial advice. Where is it? So instead of kind of going down from there, it would be from here. But you have to lose that trend line, and I think if we lose this daily level, then that will be a failed auction. Trend line break, and then you're heading for those lows probably, and the entry would be a swing failure with a reclaim, because you're coming into quite strong liquidity here. You're coming into a naked weekly, naked daily point of control, and some kind of monthly level, so you kind of have to reclaim that for confirmation, and then it would be more like this, bam, and then bam, maybe for a lower high, kind of like at that drawing. But this would be prolonged. If that happened, then we're talking, that would be the ST in phase B. It would be quite a prolonged grind down. And then what I was looking at was more like this, was a type 2 accumulation. And then you'd be basically grinding in this area for an accumulation for a few months potentially, if this pivot low actually ends up being an ST in phase B. And so effectively what we're doing now is we had the AR here, and now we're just pushing to take the high, and then you have like a 5-wave move down, 1 2 3 4 5, into taking out that low effectively. Let's get rid of that. This becomes like this. Pump, pump, pump with our lower high. Something like that. It's a possibility. Everything is possible. So let me update that. Yep. Otherwise, what happens is we go higher. Okay, and to go higher, we have to hold this daily level, this flip. Okay, so basically where we are now, we have to hold. It's really that simple. The minute you lose that daily level, it becomes a failed auction, and the shorts start to enter, the longs start to get liquidated, and we look for lower prices. And this is the one, this wash daily. We can hold that. We're underneath the point of control. We could get, if we get a nice consolidation here, bam, and then psh, and then we can push up, fill those gaps. And then if we do get that, then we are looking for two areas, somewhere between 104, 105, and then obviously higher up. What's interesting, the great thing about the charts is that we have broken this out of trend line, so it is actually looking quite bullish now, because we have put in a higher low, a higher high, as long as we can hold this area. But I think if we lose that daily level, then we could get a little bit of a liquidation to the downside, and I don't know if that trend line on its own will hold. The reason why I'm thinking this area as well is because I don't usually look at the moving averages, except just to see the momentum. But when I look at the moving averages, you've got the 20 moving average, which is the Bollinger Band. And I'm looking at the weekly. Look at that. You've got that one, and then I think it's the, is it the 50? One of them. Let me have a look at these and see which one. There's, you've got a bit of, and that's actually a bit lower than 104, 105, isn't it? Look at that. So you've got a little bit of confluence on those weekly moving averages, don't you? You've got the 50 and you've got the 20 right at the same point. And so let's see how that corresponds with the Fibs. There's a higher time frame 236 there. Volume wise, it's in front of this high volume node, and there's no higher time frame levels. You've just got single prints. It's really hard to just assume that that's going to reject. What could happen is you could smash through, then reject, and then close underneath it, and then it could start offering resistance, and then you could put in a lower high there. It's possible. Alternatively, you push through and you flip that area, and instead of becoming resistance, those moving averages now on top of each other offer support. Yeah, so again, it's the same idea. The price can always go up or down. Yeah, it doesn't have to just go up just because it's going up. It doesn't have to go down just because it's going down. It can do both. You have to assume that the price can do either. But there is quite strong confluence there. We've kind of, it would require strength to reclaim those averages and flip them back into support. And it's kind of like this, you see how the price came through this big moving average here. It washed it first, it went right through, closed above it, and then smashed through. And so in this circumstance, if you suddenly get a push up, and then the next one could just go up, yeah. But if you go up and get a clean tap and rejection, then the chances are that it's actually looking to go down. So depending on how the price reacts off these areas. So I'm just keeping an eye on that too. So it's just an idea. It's not, it's all just seeing what could happen. But ideally what I was thinking, it'd be better if we do go up. It'd be better to, I've got this lower high. It'd be a lot easier to find to have a swing failure, not a swing failure, like a little failed auction, like a reclaim and then a loss like that for a lower high. And then you're coming into my fibs. Just minimize these high time frame levels. The golden pocket. It would be nicer for us to either kind of just to claim the golden pocket and then lose it. I think that would be nicer to get a reclaim and then a loss. And when you get the loss, you've got local market structure change to bearish, and then that's a weakness, and then you're actually putting in a higher time frame lower high. All right, that's kind of Bitcoin. That's it really. That's my Bitcoin update. So we're at a really, just to summarize, we're at a really critical point in the charts. Behind these. And it basically goes to the idea of losing this daily level for lower, or consolidating here with bullish divergences for higher. And where did I mark that? Like a little ABC here, and then take the lows, a clean bounce off that level. It shows us that this is acting as support. Reclaim the point of control. To reclaim it, flip it, and then we can fill those single prints quite fast. So little range forming here until we can reclaim the point of control, and then we have a chance of filling those single prints quite quickly and then pushing up. Not necessarily in a straight go, but possibly pushing up to 104.5. Kind of that's when people get really bullish and actually they're buying into resistance, and then that's when these longs from lower start taking profit, and then everything falls back down. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. We're in a really important place. It is looking bullish, but things can change quite quickly, especially if we lose this daily level at 39,829. All right. Let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, it's kind of teetering at the same place. Nothing interesting. Now, something that I've been noticing or looking online and seeing online is a lot of people are calling for a mega alt season. So everyone expected a mega alt season last year, and it didn't come. And so what does that mean? It means that sometimes when it's really bearish, that's when it really happens. Sometimes when it's bullish, it doesn't happen. And when it's bearish, that's when it happens. I have no idea. No one really knows, but it's just food for thought. It's nice to, if I can find it, hold on. I'm trying to find it on my X account. Bookmarks, there it is. I'm going to pull it across. This was 2nd of Jan. I don't know if I shared this. There's bullish divergence on the MACD, higher time frame, and you've got this kind of higher time frame trend line break. What else is there? Let's have a look. Can't find it. Doesn't matter. So it's food for thought. There's a lot of people calling for... Oh yeah, I can find it. I can definitely find it. Hold on. Because I know I shared it. This is it. "15 years of history tells us Bitcoin is about to go parabolic." Who knows? But it's interesting. I don't really understand these business cycle things, but who knows? Maybe at least halfway. Here's another one. What people call dead altcoins usually looks like this: first, long compression, endless boredom, failed expectations. That sounds like Quanex and D-Travel, huh? Rotation doesn't start with excitement. It starts when most stop watching.
Breakout zone, same time.
I don't want to listen to him. So he's calling for altcoins versus Bitcoin. Look at this. At least halfway, yeah? It doesn't necessarily have to do the same thing and go to the highs, but at least halfway. You could get a... This is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. This is altcoin versus Bitcoin. He's kind of doing some kind of commentary here. Who knows? Maybe. It's interesting. I like to look at these things and imagine possibilities. It'd be nice, especially for those who are just hodling and are just watching this for entertainment value and nothing more. Obviously, when you're trading, you have to have a trade plan. You have to execute correctly. Very different. And if you are hodling and you're kind of getting a little bit excited, then maybe add some more. Dollar cost average more, not financial advice, but we're at a really important area here. I'd like to see what happens next. We'll have another look next week, see what happens next. Yeah, do we kind of hold this area for consolidation underneath resistance until we can flip it and go up, or do we lose this daily level and lose that trend line and then kind of really head for this lower pivot, looking for an actual real Wyckoff accumulation, a genuine Wyckoff accumulation? Who knows, right? It's anyone's guess. Let me bring that up again. Not that one. I should delete some of these now for a real back test of this trend line. That's it there. And I said it's over here, but who knows about the timings? Yeah, the timings, who knows? It could just go down from here, couldn't it? It could be there. Bam. And it could be much steeper. But the area would be a swing fade of the lows and then the reclaim of those levels that are marked. That basically that monthly level that's kind of connected to these POCs. That's what you really want. You want a swing failure and then you want to reclaim. All right, so that is Bitcoin. Any questions, anything? Post it in chat or underneath this video when I edit it. If you like this video, I appreciate a share. Or subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'm slowly getting to 1,000. It's going slow, but you know, persistence and perseverance and good vibes, I will get to 1,000, I'm sure, eventually. All right, that is Bitcoin. I'm going to move